Hi, I'm Nathan from Skate Loser. Welcome to the channel. I teach about the sport of skateboarding and the community. If you're following along in this series, you've seen the first video, which is how to push on your skateboard. So I'm assuming that anyone watching this video can ride around at least a little bit. Don't worry if you haven't watched the video. If you don't know how to push, it's pretty simple. Like if you don't have anybody teaching you, I'd recommend going and watching that video if you haven't, or somebody else's video. There's lots of better ones out on YouTube. But just saying, like, you need to learn to push before you can turn. So if you can't at all, if you can't even stand on the board, then I'd recommend checking out that video. I'll link in the description. The first thing you'll learn is definitely the easiest, and you might already know it. In the carving turn, your board follows the direction your trucks are tilted toward. So if you lean the trucks left, your board will go left, and if you lean them right, they'll go right. In order to do a carving turn, you have to have your feet in a perpendicular position, because if you have your feet in any other position like diagonal or parallel, it'll be much harder to turn. Directions will depend on what stance you skate, goofy or regular. But basically, if you want to turn to the side your back is to, which is called heel side, you tilt the pressure to your heels and the board will turn. If you want to turn to the side you're facing, which is toe side, you apply pressure with your toes to tilt your trucks to the toe side, which will make you turn. You can also turn while in a pushing position. You have your front foot on or behind the front bolts, and your back foot in the air. You don't need to have your foot perpendicular to the board for this, because it will make it much harder and more dangerous to push. All you do is rotate your foot to the left or right while balancing it to turn. It sounds pretty hard, and it might be if you're a beginner, but if you've ridden around for a little bit, you'll probably find it incredibly easy. All you have to do if you lose your balance is to put that back foot down and just push with it, and keep going. The next way to turn is the way lots of beginners use, as you don't need to go fast at all, and you can make much sharper turns. They're called Tic Tacs, just because of the sound it makes whenever you go back and forth with them. You basically just do a manual, so you lift the front wheels off the ground by lifting your front foot slightly, and drag your foot left and right to put the wheels back down. You can turn a full 360 degrees with it if you're good enough, so it's really good for sharp turns if you're not going too fast. Tic Tacs are also used a lot to move around without taking your feet off the board. If you go back and forth with your Tic Tacs and lean away from each direction as you turn, it propels the board forward. I'm not sure how the physics work, but they definitely work. If you find it hard to do them, then an easy way to practice is to bring your board to a nice flat ground area and put your back foot on the tail and front foot somewhere near the bolts. Then practice backside turns first. Backside is when your front foot goes in the direction that you're facing. It's typically easier for beginners because you can see what's in front of you as you turn. Try to lift your front trucks and turn backside as much as possible. Then when you have to set your trucks down, just pick them up and keep on rotating after, until you've done like a 360 degree turn. So you just keep on lift, put down until you've gone all the way around. Practice that a few times and you'll probably pretty quickly see that you can get easily better with longer and wider turns without having to set it down. After you feel a little more comfortable with doing backside, try frontside, which is just the other direction. It'll feel a little bit uncomfortable because you feel like you have to look over your shoulder, but if you're in an empty, flat ground area, it should be as easy as backside. Now these are the final and most difficult ways to turn, but they're my favorites. Neither are typically used just for turning, but they can be, and they're really fun. A revert is just where you slide your wheels around your body like a pivot, and typically you just turn 180 degrees so you're in a switch or fakie stance. You can use them at low speeds to make smaller turns too, but they're not super practical. They're fun though, so I'll do them occasionally, and not as fun as power slides. Power slide is when you revert the board 90 degrees and straighten out your legs while leaning back to slow down the board. They're really fun to do when bombing hills and making sharp turns. The way you turn with them is not to rotate them at a full 90 degrees, but just a little below that, and it feels like you're drifting. Because you pretty much are drifting. It might even be more fun than doing it in a car. Power slides take a while to learn, as you have to be comfortable with your board and confident in your balance to even attempt one. They're definitely scary because if you fall, you're moving fast and will probably fly off your board, just from one wrong move, so it's hard to bring up the courage to attempt them. I could never power slide a few months ago, but I almost got hit by a car when I was bombing a hill, and the only thing I could think of to do was power slide out of the way. And I did it somehow. Once you learn them, they're really rewarding, so I think it is worth it to have a few bad falls before you get them down. Not to get hit by a car though, but it's still fun. I don't regret anything. I hope you've gotten some kind of entertainment or information from this, even if it wasn't much. Thanks for taking your time to watch this video to the end. If you liked the video, I'd really appreciate it if you give it a like, and if you have the time, go through my channel, see if you like any other videos, and if you do, maybe you can subscribe. Thank you, I really do appreciate it. Love and peace. Good luck skating. Peace, motherfucker.